Okay. So honestly, y'all, this is the most challenging part of this whole project, in my opinion, is just cutting the hole. And so I tried a couple different things, but what seemed to work best for me was to take the flower pot. Ugh. I have a pencil, not a pen, so I don't know if that's going to work out for me. Let me get a pen. And then not the small part of not the small end of the flower pot, but the large end of the flower pot. I'm putting that face down on the head. Can I lift this any higher? So wherever you want it. So I'm putting it a little bit over this line in the middle, but it's actually really hard to center it because if you look at the face of these mannequins, their face is kind of tilted. So I've cut two already, and both times when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't exactly in the middle, but it's beautiful. So I'm okay with that. So once you figure out and decide where you want your hole to go, and you don't have to do a hole, y'all. If you just want to not have this as a planter, you just want to decorate it as a diva head, you can do that too. But if you want the hole, all I would do is go ahead, put this in position, and then go ahead and trace it with the pen. So the larger opening is the part that is touching the head. What's it called when you do brain? A lobotomy? Is it a lobotomy? What they used to say back in the day? They might still say that.
I think it is a lobotomy.
Lobotomy? That's what it feels like. So let me know when you have all traced your. I see yours, Carlin. Okay, got it. Now, it took me a while to get it deep enough. I decided that I just wanted to be like halfway in, so my pot actually does stick up. Can I borrow your head, mommy? I can't take it off your neck. So for this one, you see the pot is just sticking up halfway. It's about halfway down in there. So there's my hole. If you wanted to, you can make this deeper. It's all up to you. But the easiest way that I found to do this is to take my knife. And if you don't have a serrated knife, that's totally fine. And I'm just going to literally slice down into it, but I'm going to make like a grid, almost like a tic-tac-toe, right? So I'm going to go down inside of my circle. I'm not cutting out the circle yet. I'm just going down and I'm cutting into it. And you can go as deep as you can without hurting yourselves. So I did one line there. I'm going to do another one over here. Again, I'm going as deep as I want or can. Come on, Sherry. Whew. So I'm going to do this way, and then I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to go across again. So again, it's like making a tic-tac-toe board. If you want to make smaller sections, you can do that. It's up to you. That one kind of went on a curve. I am standing up. I find that this is a little bit easier than sitting down. Because I'm trying to go in as deep as I can now. I'm gonna do one more. Okay, now after you do that, you may have to do it again later, but after you do that, then take your knife and you can go around this circle. Out of frame. Hold on, there we go.
Y'all imagine what the doctors, how much force the doctors had to use before they got electric tools to go into your head?
Can't imagine. Can't even imagine nobody going in my head, but that's another story. But yes. And then once you go around your circle, it might sound funny, but I found that the spoon really was the easiest way to scoop out the inside of the head. This sounds crazy to me.
This is what they do with mangoes. They say this is how you should cut a mango.
Awesome.
The grid pattern, and then you scoop it.
So then after you, literally I'm taking my spoon and I'm scooping out the sections of the styrofoam. And if y'all probably have no idea, but this is so much easier than the first time I tried. Doing this a couple times was definitely worth it. So because you cut deep, you should be able to take your spoon and go in a little deeper and pull out additional inner pieces of the head.
Additional brain matter.
Oh, it's this styrofoam getting everywhere is definitely. So what I would do is keep going, and if you need to, you can do the grid again with the knife. But you're only going until you're happy with how far this sits inside, how far the flower pot sits inside. So if you want it, like I said, if you want it to be halfway and look something like look over her, that's fine. Or you can keep digging down in deeper and have this set a little further inside of the head. So that's what we're gonna do for a little bit until everyone is sufficiently scooped from their perspective. Do you see streaks and stuff, Carlin?
Tiny bit.
But not bad.
No, not at all.
And that's your third coat or your second coat?
Third.
I actually saw people doing this with just makeup, like just makeup. This one girl did her whole head with makeup, and people in the comments was like, "Girl, if you don't use some paint the next time, wasting all that foundation." So once your heads are dry, I would do the head wrap next. So I'm gonna show you how I did the head wrap. I know your heads are not dry. That's okay. I'm just gonna show you what I did. And just remember, I'm not a head wrap expert, so you might have a better way to do this. So there's my girl. I took this fabric and I basically wrapped it around her, but I tried to make sure that it was a little even, somewhat even. And then I just literally took it and wrapped it so that you can see the bottom of it there. Literally wrapped it around and brought it to the front and kind of held it in the front for a minute here. So this is when I decided, oh, well, I can tuck because then that'll look like I have a finished edge and my pot will hold the plant there. And then down here at the bottom, what I did is I just rolled this so that the edge was underneath so that it looked like it was a little bit more finished, literally. And then I just kind of moved it around until it was where I thought it looked pretty okay. And then just to give myself some support here, I took a couple straight pins and where I'm holding it at, so this is going to be where my bun or top knot, whatever you want to call it, will be. But I took a couple pins and I just like pushed them into the styrofoam just to hold the fabric there in place for me. And I did that on both sides of my fabric. So I'm gonna put this to the other side. So now I'm on the other side here. That looks a hot mess on camera. I'm sorry, y'all. And I'm just pinning it on this side as well. She's moving. So now it's pinned on both sides here. What's going on up here? Might be too much fabric. All right, so once I did that, then I kind of just gathered this piece up and I just twisted it around, literally. I don't know any other technical terms for that. And then I went ahead and started to wrap it. Stay in camera. She's moving, I'm not moving her, y'all. She's got her own personality. So again, I know there's tons of ways to do head wraps. So if you have another way or a better way, feel free to be creative and do this however. So when I got to the end here, I used more pins to secure it in place. So I literally just pushed it into the styrofoam. And I'm gonna need a couple more pins. I gotta get a couple more pins. And then I just kind of, you know, moved it around, fixed it up. So a lot of trial and error, a lot of playing around with it. Let me put my pot in there. Let's put this there. Questions? Concerns? Commentary? Other ideas for head wrap?